working, Dennis.
There we go. We're
That's
live
all
on
right.
that.
Damn. Jack, there we are right there on YouTube.
Yeah, we get the lines though. I'm gonna get that rag next week and see if it does.
Not working, Dennis. The
What's
speaker.
that one?
The speaker.
Speaker?
Did you hit let go?
Yeah, it's not working. Because unfortunately, the live buyer kit, whatever that word is, features is no longer available.
All right, we'll have to work on that next week.
Mm.
Shut it off.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the United States Constitutional Group. We're on Facebook. We're also on YouTube tonight, Fed Up with Politics. And like I said, we're here on Facebook. Please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's a little chilly here in South Carolina today.
Stop your babying.
No, he's right. It is, and I want my money back on global warming.
Yep.
Stop your babying.
Tired of it. Tired of all these people letting us down, saying there's global warming.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
I blame my uncle.
I'm freezing.
Why are you blaming him?
He always checks the weather too many times.
He doesn't.
Yeah, right. Between the two of them, I could get a minute to minute weather report any time of the day you want. You want to know what the weather is? Give me a call.
That's Jack and Mike.
It's like it's in stereo.
He looks at Alexa, I look at Google, and then we combine our combinations and find out what's going on.
And guess what? All four of them are wrong.
That's true.
So if you want to be part of the show, call us at 843-315-5273. Have any questions or comments relating to the show? Especially relating to putting America back together. Because we are broken, folks.
Oh, it's broken.
Our politicians cannot do it, so it's up to we, the citizens of this great country. Call now. People need to hear what others are saying. Jack, I hear you got some questions for us this week. You
We're
want
going
to start us
with
off?
the first question, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
I don't think I'm in the picture. I think you got to move that.
I think you got to move closer.
Yeah,
But then
you
I'm
do.
out of this one because
No,
I'll be
you're
behind
fine.
the bookstore.
How's that?
Yeah. Hi, there I am.
There goes the
You
camera.
Yeah,
I wonder why the
broken.
camera's got freaking
I got-
lines on it.
I got the perfect face for radio, which is not working tonight. Just my luck. I feel like Ronnie Dangerfield. All right. The question I wanted to ask came up recently. I had other questions, but the events of time just keep coming so fast at this country. We are in so much trouble. My question to you, Mike, and little Jack here, Junior, is little Jack. He's 7 feet tall. Is
The great little giant.
yeah, that ship hitting that bridge.
That was unbelievable.
That
Wasn't it?
was.
Did you see the video for it?
I saw. First off, I
Oh
couldn't
my
believe how
God.
fast that bridge fell.
It fell
Yeah,
within 3
one
seconds.
pillar and the whole thing came
I mean, but do you think it was an accident, or do you think this was done?
You know, I was talking to Madeline about that last night.
Everybody's talking about it. That's why I'm asking.
And I said,
I got an
was just
email.
kidding. I was just kidding around with her and about being a conspiracy theory. But more and more people are coming out today saying that they think it was a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it was just a freak accident. And I was talking to a lady today at work, and she said she's from Maryland, and she said, "You don't understand the number of cars that use that bridge on a daily basis. They're going to be crippled for months,
Years.
Yeah.
probably years.
They had the tunnel.
They're going to be crippled for a long time. They're not going to be able to get this port reopened for several months, I bet.
Well,
And plus, it's people that are still missing.
Yeah.
They've given up. They're not even looking for them anymore.
No, you give it up.
They gave up. What kind of shit is that?
I mean, you don't stop looking for recovery until everybody's recovered.
That's right.
I would imagine that's the way it should be.
That's what I always thought.
Yeah.
Not
What do you
not
think?
for democratic cities. What do you think, Mike?
And Democratic state.
Right.
I think it was an accident. There's a couple of things I don't understand. Like, what about the pilot? Because I know in New York they have pilots. that bring in these
Every
ships
port in the world.
in and
has.
out.
Well, they say the captain of the ship was Ukrainian, so it was his fault.
And
Yeah, but usually they have a pilot.
and they
But it has to be an
tugboats.
American pilot.
Right.
It doesn't matter what country you go into. Every port you go into is
Has
supposed
to
to
have
have a pilot.
for that country.
for that port too.
Yep.
And then someone was saying that there should have been tugboats that weren't there. But I don't know. I mean, I think it was an accident. The thing that gets me is that one pillar, the whole bridge went down in seconds. We got $2.1 trillion for infrastructure that's going to green energy while our bridges are falling down.
Well, here's my thing. Now, again, I don't know. But if you want to throw the conspiracy angle out there, here's what I've been, because I had a little conversation with a friend of mine. He's on a cruise and he emails me what a friend of his was saying. And here's what we have. So you have a ship of that size with no tugboats, and I don't know if there was a pilot. There should
That's
have been.
unusual.
Nobody's
Well,
saying
pilot
any-
wouldn't have mattered because they lost power.
Well, that's the thing, though. You have a shipping lane, and that shipping lane is from the beginning to the end.
Mhm.
How did they get off course so far out of that shipping lane without nobody knowing that this is going on
Put on a
until the
brakes.
last minute? Well, not even that. I don't understand. Like they say, you could drop that thing into reverse, full steam, going backwards. It's still going to take you a mile and a half to stop that ship.
Oh yeah.
I understand that. But to be off course, that far off course. Now, all of these ships are on autopilot, GPS to the yard. This thing is off course, way off course.
Yeah.
Now, not one thing goes off to the harbor master, to anything that's going on, all the check valves that are there. This just miraculously, boop.
Yeah, they could have
nothing.
cleared that whole bridge.
The other thing that we have here is that bridge is the number one route for hazardous material because it brings it down to that port. That port is one of the biggest hazardous material plate that brings hazardous materials in and out.
You know, that bridge was built in 1972 and it took 5 years to complete.
Yeah.
1970. How long is it going to take now?
Right. And like I said, they can get those hazardous materials there, but if they got to go through the tunnel, it's going to have to be at night. It's going to have to be closed. It's going to have to be escorted. So here's my thing. Okay, so if this was not an accident 100% like it seems like it could have been, because it could have been.
Yeah.
You know, you saw the lights going on and off, but we don't have the box. You know, we don't have that black box. We don't know what's going on with that ship. You know, it's still sitting there. We don't know anything. And here's the problem. We have a puppet master for a government that will never know. And here's some examples that I think could be on the same lane as this ship. All right? Does everybody remember the train that pulled into the Philadelphia train station at full speed?
Yeah.
Full speed, just about 3 years ago. Still don't know why or how that happened. Why did that train just go plowing into the street? Like they didn't know the train station was there? You know?
Maybe it moved.
And, you know, they got, I remember that news, you know, the engineer, there was, you know, everything was good with him. You had
You seen things?
I thought I heard something.
You had the pipeline that got hacked and closed all the fuel on the East Coast 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
You see my flag out there, Mike?
Yes, they do. That's what I said the Pledge of Allegiance to.
Yeah.
I can't see it from this spot.
Very nice.
Just put it up over the weekend. Madeline bought me that for my birthday.
I can't see it.
When you get up, it's lit up at night too. So
Yeah.
So you have
no, the
the pipeline that went bad. Then you had the other train in Ohio went. Nobody knows why that train fell off the track and blew up. I mean, instantaneously blew up. And then we had a balloon go all over our country, over every military site and electric grid. And our government hasn't explained one of these things yet.
they never will.
Some hiking go.
So do you
hiking?
think, like, during September 11th, before September 11th happened, there was other incidents that happened. One of our embassies got attacked and blown up. The ship, what was the name of the ship? Started with a Y. The battleship got blown up. They drove up there with
Yorktown? Was it Yorktown?
Yorktown.
Yep.
Got blown up. You know, so is this our enemies checking our underbelly? You know, because it kind of seems like the same type of things were happening not so close to our shores as before September 11th.
Yeah, it could be them hacking the railroads and shipping yards just to see what they can get away with.
I don't know what it is,
For the
man.
big one.
But we're
Could
not
be an
going to know.
inside job, Mike.
Listen,
Well,
we
got
have
enough immigrants.
we have
to
what
be
they
an inside
think
job.
300 terrorists in this country.
Yeah.
Took 19 to do September 11th. Took less than that to blow up that battleship.
Yeah.
You know?
It was just a small boat.
The only thing that happened good out of this is it didn't happen during the day with hundreds of cars going over there.
Yeah.
Those guys finally saw it. They're workers
Yep.
that ended up getting killed and nobody's looking for anymore.
Yeah.
They called up and said, listen, close this highway down. This ship is coming right at us.
So at least someone was smart enough. They're heroes. So what's your second question, Jack?
My second question is kind of a two-part question. Robert F. Kennedy.
Yeah, he's very.
He's running for
interesting.
president.
He's running for president. He just named his
vice president.
vice president, which I thought was like,
She's like an
that's a terrible pick.
philanthropist and a lawyer.
I
Yeah,
thought
it-
She's his
I
lawyer,
thought
from what I
it
heard.
can be
Really?
Yeah.
doing a football player for vice president.
No,
He was doing Aaron. They talk about Aaron Rodgers, but
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that's
was.
what I thought.
that'd be a dumb move.
Yeah,
I thought
but-
this one was a dumb move.
I think it's his lawyer.
I don't know too much about her, so
I don't know
I'm
much
not gonna
about
make
her
a
anyway.
sound. I don't
The
know.
question I wanted to ask about it was, because the pundits are always wrong, where do you think who's he taking from more right now? And by the time November, if you had a crystal ball and he stayed in it,
I think Democrats.
I don't know much about her or what base she had, but I think taking away from both sides right now.
right now he's taking 7 from each, 7% from each.
Because
What about the?
it's a new face in politics,
Yeah.
not a new name, not a new family name, because they've been in politics for hundreds of years, seems like. But it's a new face with different ideas.
Yeah.
And people are tired of
Of
what
the
we
old.
have.
Yeah.
You know, I'm tired, you're tired, Mike's tired, Junior's tired. We're tired of getting screwed.
Mhm.
And then maybe they
Fresh
think
blood.
that Mr. Kennedy could do something different.
What about the independents? Is he
Well, I don't know what
running
he's. I don't even know what
He
he's.
is
I
an
think he's running under
independent.
Democrat.
I thought it was independent.
He's running as an independent.
He's running as an independent.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Independent.
Yeah.
Now you got to worry about what's his face, Bernie Sanders. When he have something to say to this man, like
I don't think-
whisper, you
I really
better
don't
not.
I really don't think Bernie Sanders has a say in politics anymore. His ideas are so out there that people just like let him ramble on
I don't think Kennedy would listen to
and
him
move
anyway.
on.
I don't
Kennedy's
know.
not gonna-
This guy seems to be
I think-
his own mind.
What do you think, Mike?
I thought he'd be taken away from the Democrats and the independents, which might hurt Trump as far as the independents.
What about
Well,
November? You think it stays 7-7?
I think
I think
if
it all
he gets
depends.
on all the ballots in every state,
He might do
it'll
some
stay
damage.
there. It'll stay probably around 25%, I think.
And I also think, I don't know, because he drew my interest too. And I've heard a couple of people in Pennsylvania, I was talking to some of my family, and they were saying they're very strongly looking towards Kennedy.
It kind of disappointed me when he
The vice president pick.
the
was
vice
terrible
president
to me.
pick. I mean,
was
I don't know
like-
anything about it. I would have wished it was a known name right now. But any new face in politics is good because we were talking about it's time for it's time for change. It's time to vote different.
Yeah, it is.
So
She's
this might be
only
the
30
opportunity for us all to vote different.
She's only 38 years old too.
Yeah, she's young.
Yeah, she's
It's good.
young.
Maybe she can be the next president.
I
You
tell
never
you the
know.
truth, I don't know if he's going to be able to get on all the state ballots, and not because of his own work, but I think because Biden's working against him.
Biden and Trump are working against him.
Yeah, but Biden's really working against him. Like Biden's getting
Yeah,
his
yes.
lawfare against him, like
Yeah.
like legally taking
Yeah,
him
he's
off
got his
of
lawyers
these ballots.
working overtime.
You know, not like Trump is doing it the old-fashioned way. Let me beat the shit out of this guy like we always do. And I guess Biden's doing it his old-fashioned way through terrible attorney generals and law firm.
And only
Warfare.
the,
But I tell you the truth, I think if he was able to do that, if he's able to do that, I think the closer he gets to November, the the more he's going to be taken from Democrats. Just because
Fresh.
you know what? Because I think it's the Democrats saying, there's a Democrat.
That's
Because-
a true Democrat.
Right. Because there are no Democrats.
They're socialists.
You're right. There is not a regular, the guy from West Virginia.
I think you're gonna have a lot of independents going for him.
Yeah, I think that too.
Yeah, I think so.
I think if he gets on every ballot, he'll probably poll around 25%.
So he's got to make somebody lose because you're not going to win with 25%.
No, but I think with that, it's going to be a very, very different race.
It'd be nice to see him in a debate with Biden and Trump.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be something.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
Because
That would fool a lot of people one
I would
way or the
almost think that he would be the only grown up in the room.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything about Trump. I like Trump policies, and I thought he had done a lot. It's just I have a problem wrapping my head around. I have to see who. I tell you, I heard
Who's he going to pick for vice president?
personally myself who I think he should pick. I think he should pick Mike Pompeo.
Yeah, I agree. I think
That
he
guy
should.
is amazing. He's an American.
Yeah.
Through and through. He worked the CIA for him, and then he went to the State Department and became the Secretary of State. And he made changes. He's the reason why that these things. I don't know. I just think if I wanted to see somebody go after Trump, I would want it to be Mike Pompeo.
I agree.
I'll tell you, if he's in a
What about you?
debate,
I'm definitely not a fan of Biden, and I like Trump's policies, but I'm not a fan of Trump
But is
because it's just like it's just going to be we're going to get back at the people who screwed us over the last 4 years.
But I tell you the truth, I don't know if he is because they were saying. I mean, he didn't do it the last 4 years, and they put him over the Crows last time.
Yeah, but they got him in a corner right now.
They had him in the corner.
They still do.
Straight from the rip, they had him in the corner, and he never paid back. You let him go. Okay, you want to do that? Go ahead, go do that.
Yeah, but he's gonna. It's my opinion. He's gonna. It's a retaliation for the first year.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's my thing with him. I mean, he's a big bully in the sandbox. And I know he's not a politician per se, and I like that. But he doesn't like resonate with one thing, Now he's wishy-washy on Roe versus Wade.
Well, he explained that.
I understand it, but,
I mean,
first you're for it, then you're against it, and now you're like, okay, we'll do 15 weeks.
Well, because I mean, his explanation to it is you have to get elected. You see,
But you're just caving in
I
to
don't
get
know.
elected.
Huh? No, I don't think that's what I think happened with
Just
that,
like Biden's caving in on immigration.
he's caving in on
Because he
Israel.
Israel immigration because he wants to get reelected, and he's lowering gas prices because he wants to get reelected. People forget what happened the last 3 years.
What
They forget what happened after the last 6 months. All of a sudden, gas prices are going to be $2.50 a gallon. It's Biden's the best thing since apple pie. The inflation's rate is going down. Biden's the best thing. They don't understand. As soon as
It's
November
temporary.
7th or 10th, whenever the election comes, and it's still a Democrat in there, things are going to go back to the same because these food prices aren't coming down.
No.
So we need someone in there that can raise wages, that cares about the people, that cares about the country, that wants to see the country get back on the right path. Because as sure as hell the Democrats don't want it, and half these Republicans don't want it.
I don't know what's going on with the Republican Party. But
They have
to
no
go
clue.
to go back to the abortion thing, because I kind of watched that because I was going insane with it, and I blamed it on Lindsey Graham number one, because as soon as it was passed, that should have been it. Okay, the courts did it. Don't say nothing. Let the United States get a feel for it. What is it now? Okay, now it's back in our court. How are we going to do this? It wasn't that way. It was rammed.
There was nothing.
There was-
nothing wrong with the way it was going on.
But when the Supreme Court got rid of it, they should have left it. But no. And the first one to jump on was Lindsey Graham saying slow down. Let the United States get a hold of it, and then the more. So the United States of America, the people of America, are not extremes. So they don't want free willy nilly. 2 weeks after the kid's born, you can still abort it. No, that's murder. And they don't want. There is no reason ever that you're ever going to have an abortion. It's impossible. They don't want that. They want
Common
this,
sense.
right? So the Republican Party didn't give a chance for the American people to make common sense out of it. They went to the extreme, just like the Democrats did to get rid of it.
They should have never went to Supreme Court. It should have been on the ballot in November. What do the people want? Do you want this or don't you? And let the
Well,
people decide.
I don't think it should be in the federal government.
Right,
It should have been a
issue.
state thing,
So
and each
right.
state put it on the ballot for what they wanted, and they didn't do. The Republicans didn't do. They passed laws that ended up being unconstitutional, and they look like idiots over it.
Right.
And now it forces a compromise of making you look like you're backtracking so you can try and get a foothold of it again.
Yeah.
Regardless, either way, it was wrong. What the Democrats were thinking about it, where there was no rules to it at all, and that the Republicans said, well, there's no way you can have it.
Right.
It just, again, not the politicians of America not reading the crowd, us
Again,
the people.
politicians,
Once again,
politicians getting involved
Right.
in things they shouldn't be
the
involved in.
federal government, which they just finished getting out of abortion, is right back in it. The
Because,
minute they
and I
passed
think
it, they
it
were
was, I
right
think it
back
was
in
Lindsey
it.
Graham was the first one to rip off on that.
Yep.
And he ruined the whole
He
thing.
should have just kept his mouth shut. It wasn't his business anymore.
And
You
let
know,
the states
you
go.
know my feelings on Lindsey Graham. He's got to go.
Yeah, he does. He's an idiot.
But again, these politicians getting in people's lives that they don't belong in.
But then we got off the railroads on that, on the railroad tracks on that. But as far as Kennedy, getting back to Kennedy.
Yeah, I was going to say something about him too. If there's a debate, if it's good, it can swing a lot of people towards Kennedy.
I
The
just
answer is because I don't think he is for federal education. I think he believes it belongs to the states. But we could get a better feel for him with a debate.
What I think right now, the people right now have already made their decision. They've already made it, whether they're going for Trump, Biden, or Kennedy. They're already making it. The last 30 days, that's when the independents will make a choice. And the moderate Republicans and moderate Democrats will make a choice.
I think he should
see.
be on the debate.
I feel good for the Democrats because of Robert Kennedy. Because like we just got done saying, it kind of looks like there's a Democrat there again.
A real true.
And the reason why I
like
said-
during the 60s.
And the reason why I said Mike Pompeo was because I feel if he's able to run for president, if Trump wins, he only gets 4 years.
Right.
But and then if Mike Pompeo can run for after
8
that,
years.
Mike
8 years.
Pompeo reminds me of the Republican Party I grew up with, Reagan.
Yeah.
And his negotiation skills are. I mean, he's the one that went out and got North Korea to start negotiating with. He's the one that got the Middle East, the accords there. This guy has Republican values of a Republican, not these assholes they got in there now that don't even know what they're doing with it. He graduated out of West Point. He did his turn. He worked. He did his time in the service. He did his time in Congress. He was going to retire, and then he was asked to be part of
Called
it,
in.
and he did. And he always says, "Whatever the country needs, that's what I'll do." And that's the guy I would feel just as nice for the Republican Party if Mike Pompeo was there as I do for the Democrats right now because they have Robert Kennedy.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, though. It'll be very interesting if Kennedy gets on all the ballots.
Yeah, he's got it. I mean, even if
If he's on the South Carolina ballot, I'm
if
voting
it was,
for him.
even if it was a level playing field, it would be hard. But it's not a level playing. I mean, Biden has got.
He's got his lawyers.
He's got his. He doesn't have. He's got his courts. His courts.
that he owns.
Yeah, I mean that George Soros bought from him. And that brings me to my third question, unless you want to do your topic.
Nope, we're having a good time here. So go to your third topic.
My third topic is, what the hell was my third topic?
Don't tell me you forgot already.
No, what were you saying about George Soros courts? Son of a biscuit.
He's lost it, folks.
That's
Oh, my
scary
goodness.
part.
Why did I forget what I was going to say?
He's
Because I
done.
didn't write it down. Look,
Old
same thing
age.
with Patrick.
Old age has caught up. First thing that
So-
goes, the mind.
Only the courts.
The courts. Take Trump out of it. The United States judicial system
Is messed up.
is taking a private citizen's property, seizing somebody's assets.
Well, I heard they weren't doing that anymore.
Well, listen, Mike. They had it already. The adults came to the room and
And
listen. At $174 million, this case is not the one that Alvin Bragg has for him. Was a misdemeanor that was past
7 years.
past the statutory limits, tied into a federal. He's
That's gonna be
he's a
thrown
city
out.
thing. That shouldn't be there.
That'll be thrown out.
This case that they went down to 170. He took a loan to do it, and the bank gave it to him, and then the bank got paid back with interest. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
And then the government wants to seize his property of $500 million because he paid his loans back. You know what I'm saying? This is a very, very scary place to be, folks.
Yep.
You know, we talk about Saul Alinsky and the 8 tenets of socialism, and we've been telling you for 4 years. 4 years about it. This is what it looks like when socialists have your court system. You have the press firing the head of the GOP because she thinks different. She thinks different. So you can't debate what 50% of the United States is thinking because they don't have a right to have their idea. These people were literally on TV saying, spanking their bosses. And their bosses listened
Yeah.
and fired her and didn't tell her. She found out like everybody else did through the press and apologized to their workers. Sorry, we did this. Education. These kids have no idea what this American. Listen, me and Dennis, we're not in the health industry, but we work at a health industry. I see people waiting weeks for a doctor to call them back. I see people waiting hours for a doctor to see them. I see nothing but fury. Health care taken away. The economy. We just got done saying that. They take $1.2 trillion of tax dollars and say they're going to fix our roads and bridges and gave it to green energy instead.
Yep.
And
now you got bridges
falling
falling down and trains falling off of their tracks and planes losing parts in the middle of the air. You know, listen.
And air traffic controllers that aren't qualified.
I mean, if you look at this and see the United States government through the judicial system seizing Americans' property, we have a problem here, folks. This is a dangerous, dangerous thing.
Just the beginning.
And I had 4 questions because I wanted to, we can go into it next week. I wanted to see who you guys think are running this government.
I think you need to settle down.
Right? I think so too. I don't think it has anybody to do with anybody in politics. But anyway,
Listen, this country's on the wrong road track. Track, whatever you want to call it. Wrong side of the road, going down a one way that we shouldn't be going on.
Jesus.
So who's actually running this? No one knows.
I think there's a bunch of people doing a little bit.
You know, Obama's in on it.
Could be.
Yeah,
He
could be.
said if he had the opportunity, he would.
Yeah.
I don't think he
No.
works hard enough to do that.
Bill Gates,
Bill Gates is a guy.
George
who's hard on
Soros.
it. George Soros, yes.
Michelle Obama.
No, Michelle Obama don't want to work
nothing.
either.
She don't want
Clinton's,
nothing to do with this place.
Bill Clinton, he ain't working.
No, he can't do it.
I don't think it's them.
So probably no labels as a goner now because Joe Lieberman passed away.
Fell down.
Yeah. So no labels is probably going nowhere now because he was one of the starters of it.
Him and a guy from Pennsylvania.
Well, you know, they all have one thing in common, whoever's running.
They're all idiots.
They want one world
Oh.
order,
I was close.
one world currency.
So yes, you was right. I can't believe Joe Lieberman died from falling down.
Just never know. So no labels is probably done.
Did they check his neck real close? There might be a little thing hole there somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe
it's
he
in
fell on
his
his
leg.
pencil like the guy did falling down the stairs in the school.
So I think we have enough time to do my topic.
All right.
So it's crazy that criminals seem to have more rights than the victims do. Would you agree with that?
Well, I could give you even an example of it.
What do you got?
All right. I always talk about social justice. So social justice has gotten to the point where this guy is allowed to live and shoot crack in his arms and heroin so much, and the person paying for it is the little old lady that's in her condo, but has to have the steel bars up to keep the guy out in the street that's the crackhead from going in there, killing her and stealing her stuff so he can go get more crack.
Right.
So there's your social justice. Folks. This guy's socially allowed to sit in the corner, shit in your curb, shoot heroin on front stoop, make you put bars on your window, and not let you out after night, and you have to call Uber to get your medication to be delivered from an extra 6 miles away because the local CVS got burnt down because his buddies were allowed to ride.
You know, so from your liberal media praising criminals to our politicians not wanting criminals to be arrested and jailed, and to our liberal district attorneys not wanting to convict them. Liberals have this country ass backwards. It's actually sad to watch.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, actually.
You know, but I want to talk about squatters tonight, which seems to be happening more and more. But before I do, I want to mention that all Senate Democrats voted no on a bill that would stop using taxpayer dollars to fly immigrants to cities across America.
Yeah.
So I was right about that? They were flying them
Yep.
in?
That's
And
right.
the Senate, every
Every Democrat
said-
said no.
How many Republicans said no?
I just didn't look at that.
I know they didn't mention it. I was hoping you looked further into it because
You
you
know,
like numbers.
That's right. They
So they're
believe,
going right over the border.
they believe your tax dollars can be used for anything they want, even to transport illegal immigrants. Man, if that doesn't get you pissed, there's something wrong with you folks. Any taxpayer money should be used for seniors so they don't have to pay for medical insurance. It can be used for veterans programs and veterans homelessness. Yes, it's a big problem across America. Take care of our veterans that fought for this country. Starving people all across America. 14 million children that are starving every single day. They use it to transport illegal immigrants. That's a huge issue for me. It should be a huge issue for you. The federal government needs to take care of American citizens first, and they're failing to do that. We tell you that all the time. And if I'm going to be honest with you, if you agree with what they're doing, you're a moron.
You just don't know.
You're a freaking moron. Take care of the homeless people. Take care of these starving children who deserve a chance because they're legal. Not these animals that come over here and kill people and get away with it. Or beat cops up and get away with it.
Well, the people are anti-American that are voting for all this stuff. They hate Americans.
You know,
And anyone who agrees with them and thinks they're doing right or hate Americans. If you talk to them, you'll see they hate Americans.
I'm so sick and tired of this federal government.
Well, once they start comparing you to Hitler,
Yep.
which should never be compared to anything, that guy was so terrible. So once they compare people like us,
Right? Voting Americans.
and that's why somebody like Ronald McDaniel can't go on CNBC or NBC News because they can't listen to Hitler.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep. Well, let's get into my topic for tonight, and that's about squatters.
Squatting.
which is anyone who begins to inhabit a piece of property or land without the legal right to do so. In other words, they are renting the property from the owner. They are not renting the property from the owner. Where landlord-tenant laws come into play, they don't do that. They do not have permission to use this property. But right in the first sentence, inhabit a piece of property without the legal right to do so. So these clowns have no right to be there at all. It's owned by someone. It's private property for no one reason. People have saved up to buy these properties and are working hard to maintain their property. Then once in a while, a squatter with no legal right tries to make that property they have not paid for their own, believing they can live there until they want to leave, even for life. They're trespassing on your property. But when you call the police, you may be subject to arrest.
They did in New York.
They did in New York.
$1 million house that woman had.
For you attempting to remove someone that has no legal right to be there. How the hell does that happen in America? How's it happen, Mike?
Well, I heard there was no trespassing laws anymore, that the Democrats got rid of it, that the DAs would not even prosecute that or bring it to the court. So those homeowners, I would trespass on my own property and get them out.
Yep.
And if the cops come and say, wait a minute, I'm trespassing, there is no laws against that anymore, even though it's your own property.
That's a good lead up. Jack, you know what it is from?
What?
It's from our spineless politicians.
Oh.
And liberal courts that have again created another problem for U.S. citizens and homeowners.
I don't think they're liberals. I think they're socialists. I think we could start calling them that. Because you know what this is going to lead to? You have a 2-bedroom house. It's just you. We're going to take you out of that house, put you over here, and take these 2 people and bring them over here.
Well, that's Bernie Sanders and AOC want to do that.
Yep.
Government housing.
Well, they're
They
just
want
getting
the
it right.
government to get into the real estate business.
Yep.
Hence the reason they probably wanted to seize Trump property.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I need it.
You know, but each state in the union has some sort of squatter rights and laws on their books.
Not Florida anymore.
Not Florida anymore.
DeSantis said, talk to my ass, my head hurts.
I want to know what idiot of a politician would even create a law like this. I'm really flabbergasted at how many fucking morons actually follow that idiot.
Yeah, well.
But they did. Now squatters seem to have more rights than a legal homeowner. Can you believe that shit? It's madness. It's madness, folks. So
It's
you're
really happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
All across
you know,
America.
The renter had more rights than a homeowner for years in New York.
Yeah.
You know, you wanted to evict somebody out of your house, it was 6 months. But you could get them out eventually. Now it's like,
You
sorry,
can't get them out at all.
Yeah. Sorry. Losers, weepers.
So you're paying the mortgage every month, and these squatters live there for nothing. They live there for free, thinking one day that house will be theirs.
The funny thing is if you stop paying the mortgage, see how fast the banks get those squatters out.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The laws
Yeah.
change all of a
The
sudden.
banks that are campaign contributions.
That's right.
Whoa. Yeah, bank you can't. Yeah, get them out.
That's right. You know,
I'm having a party tonight, $500 a plate.
you know, the idea of squatting goes back to medieval England, and it's common law. The King's Court would routinely rule in favor of individuals who occupy the property without permission, providing the owner did not take action against them within a certain statute of limitations. That's where it comes from.
Well, you know, it did work in the United States for a while, too. The expansion going west, people they would squat. They would see a broken down cabin that wasn't there, and then a neighbor would come, and all of a sudden somebody would come and say, hey, these are my rights. This is my property. And, you know, so now it was, again, possession is 9/10 of the rule, you know.
Yeah.
So even in this country years ago, but we're not expanding anymore.
No.
You understand?
We're down
We've
as
been
far
here
as
for
we
years.
can- you know, there's water after that.
Yeah.
You know, in South Carolina, for example, if a squatter lives in your house for 10 years, the law states that could be in their possession. That's real fair.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, But thankfully, in the United States, such practices are no longer really applicable. State legislators have created a more concrete set of rules regarding squatting, like I just mentioned. Squatters have rights so that, in the bigger picture, justice can be facilitated. It's very similar to tenants' rights that protect a renter from an unscrupulous landlord. If this doesn't make you crazy, doesn't say open your eyes and say make your head explode, man, you're messed up. You're messed up.
You're a squatter.
The law spells out that the rights of each party involved to keep the real estate market stable and negotiation mostly should be peaceful. So that's why I don't want to kick squatters out. We don't want peaceful. Pretty dumb sounding. But yeah, squatting is a huge problem here in America that no one wants to seem to take control of.
See, California fixed it.
Yeah, they did a good job.
They used to have everybody living outside.
Yeah.
Thanks to a fortune now, though.
Yeah, right. You can't buy a pump tent up there for less than $50.
Remember the American dream? American dream. Great house. I mean, a great job. Home ownership. It's like you achieved a level of success. Now, if you go away for a month, a squatter may have moved in and now you're screwed. It's time for homeowners to stand up and get these laws changed.
Guys, I got to go home. I got to check my house.
Yeah. I have been away from my house for 3 hours.
In a lot of cases, a property occupied by the owner does not fall into squatters' rights law because the owner does not need to go through the eviction motions to remove a trespasser. Some states use the force to remove trespassers from a owner-occupied property is a protected right. So you should still call the police and allow them to use the force if necessary.
What did you hear what that sheriff said in Florida?
No, what did he say?
He says, he reminded everybody that there's a stand your ground law in Florida. And if you have somebody coming into your house like that, there might be a very well reason you could shoot them. And if you did, we'd appreciate it. That way we won't have to get rid of them.
Because we got a bunch of people squatting in our house.
I elect that guy to mayor.
That's awesome. I just remember you might have to go to court, spend more of your hard-earned money, and get them evicted. But if you do that, a squatter still has the right to pick up his belongings. You can't just throw them on the lawn or outside or in the trash.
And it might take them 30 days to get all that stuff out. And you start at ground one again.
So maybe, just a thought here, maybe we should send all those squatters to politicians' homes. They can camp out on their property, and we're not home. They can take over their residence.
Well, that's true because a lot of these guys in D.C., they spend months and months away from their home.
Yeah.
So all you have to do really is get that squatter, throw them over the wall that they have around their house because
they have a wall.
Yeah, and just say he won't be back for 3-4 months. He's up in D.C.
Sending them
They
to
got very nice furniture out here. But they got quite the allowance.
Sending them to politicians is the only way things will change here in America. Bring the problem to them, and so show them how much they're idiots and they screwed up America. Bring it right to their doorstep, in a peaceful way, of course.
You're not dragging on the back of your pickup truck.
As a homeowner,
You're stopped.
I suggest you get familiar with these squatter laws, just in case a squatter happens to you. Mike, Jack, you got anything?
There's some states that have a big problem with that, like Arizona and Florida. I mean, Florida won't anymore because they signed that bill in there. But, if you're from Arizona, you might be somebody that lives down there only 6 months, and then you move up north for 6 months.
Yep.
So for 6 months, somebody has an opportunity to get into Arizona
And
and
they
get
know,
into your house.
And you can't kick them. You can't get them out
No.
because they've been there for 6 months.
And then
What kind
they
of
know
shit is
if time's running out, what do? They destroy your entire house on the way out. Oh, by the way, here's the last kick in the nuts. I'm going to destroy everything in this house.
it's going to cost you thousands of dollars to fix.
Anyway, we're in a lot of trouble, folks.
So we're running out of time here, guys. Any last thoughts for you guys?
We're out of time.
No, we're not out of time yet.
Well, time's running out.
Time's running out. We got all the time in the world. Be here at 9 o'clock if you want.
Listen, I can't afford to have a squatter in my house.
Good point. Thanks for watching, everyone. And remember, with Jesus Christ rising from the dead, we have new beginnings. Make the best of your life. Dream big. Aim high. And don't let these politicians ruin our lives anymore. Vote different this year. take a look at Robert Kennedy. Send that huge message that we, the people, are pissed off, and it's time for a change. Mike, please lead us in prayer.
All right, I'm going to read one of my favorite prayers. I call it the perfect prayer. It's in the Bible. It's 1 Timothy chapter 2. I exhort, therefore, that first of all, supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and honesty. For this is good and acceptable in the sight of God our Savior, who will have all men to be saved and to come unto the knowledge of the truth. For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself a ransom for all, to be testified in due time. And please, Lord, help those families that lost loved ones in this disaster in Baltimore. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
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 You know what he needs? The white collar.
I want to mention too.
Start calling him Father Mike.
Yeah.
We had that New York City cop, young man, get shot down in the streets.
Well, that's the guy who got shot under the bulletproof vest, right, in the stomach or something? Oh, I forgot about
3 years on the job, young wife, newborn baby. Godspeed.
Rest in peace, brother. So we have too many sheep here in America. Be that hawk in this country full of political asses, and elephants.
That was hard to say.
It was.
How many yeses?
Too many S's. You're right.
Pacifist.
Junior, glad you're feeling better from your operation.
Thank you.
Good job, Jack.
Thank you.
Have a
First day in
happy
the hot
Easter.
tub today for 2 weeks.
I had like 2 weeks to
2
get
weeks
in.
he had to wait to get in.
Have a happy Easter, everyone. Be safe.
Happy Easter,
And we'll see
everybody.
you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Good night,
Good night.
America. Good night, America. I think I'm going to say that from now.